Dora Adamo from Industrial Power Solutions in Baker Hughes, Dr. Andreas Kunz, CTO from INNIO, Miloslav Kužela, Sales Director from TEDOM, John Mason from Solar Turbines, and Dr. Morán from Integrated Energy Solutions at Green Enesys. So if I could start with Dora, if you'd like.
So good evening, everybody. Very happy to be here today and to take part of this discussion, this very important topic. Dora Adamo, I'm a clean power solution strategy and growth initiatives leader at Baker Hughes. And I want to start answering to a question that sometimes I have, that is, what is to you energy transition? To me, energy transition is somehow reflected into this picture, where basically more than 130 countries have been committing to net zero emission in the next 30 to 40 years. So that's very good news. Unfortunately, we also need to face the fact that there are three hard truths about the energy transition. The very first one is that we need to accelerate. As the IEA is stating, basically only 25% of the technologies that will allow the net zero emission targets to be achieved are commercially available today. Other than that, the remainder are either in a pilot phase or not yet commercialized. So we really need to make sure that we continuously invest and develop into innovation. The second point is that hydrocarbons will not disappear in the next 20-30 years. So they will still account for a big portion of energy supply in the future. So our role here is to make it more efficient. And then the third one, that is one that I probably care the most, and that's the reason why I'm here as Baker Hughes, is the value of collaboration for the future. Collaboration that goes, of course, within the industry, but also with the community, with policymakers and regulators. So, Baker Hughes is an energy technology company. As such, we build our strategy, also to answer the question of Simon today, driven by our vision, that is to take energy forward, to make it safer, cleaner, and more efficient for the people and the planet. I am, as I said, leading the strategy for the clean power solution business. That is one of the business that we have in place in order to transform and diversify within Baker Hughes. So starting from our core technologies, we are investing in order to making the energy more efficient and to decarbonize. So we are investing into carbon capture, utilization and storage, hydrogen, emission management, and clean power solution. Let me state again these two words, clean and power, that if we consider that 25% of the global emissions today are coming from the power generation sector, making it cleaner will really make it like a huge challenge, but at the same time also a huge opportunity for this industry. So there are three main areas where we're working on when talking about the clean power solution and the way we will enable the energy transition. One is definitely the areas of the prime movers, gas turbines, steam turbines, and also top-notch technology where we just invested, but also the area of the energy efficiency and electrification, meaning making of the waste something that can be monetized and that can be utilized as additional energy source. And then the last area, that is the area of the integration and energy management, because obviously given the growth of renewables in the next years, it's evident that intermittency will be a key issue, and it is today a key issue. So the ability of integrating multiple technologies will be key to make sure to have again resilient and reliable energy supply. So I'll touch upon some of them, starting from, let's say, the core of the technology. Nuovo Opinione has been investing in the latest year in the Nova LT gas turbine family. It's a family that it goes from 5 to 12 to 16 megawatt, that it is optimized for cogeneration and combined cycle power plant. So high overall efficiency, top-notch availability, and maximize plant performance, also thanks to digital. But what I want to focus today is on the hydrogen burning capabilities. So 100% hydrogen burning capabilities with this portfolio of machines, without compromising on performance, on efficiency, and also on availability, and with a roadmap to burn hydrogen with low NOx emissions. So, and I must say that definitely one of the reasons why we are investing in this technology and we are innovating here is because we definitely think that gas turbines are a perfect fit with the energy transition and with the need of flexibility that the system will have in order to balance the intermittency of the grid. We have been selected by several customers in the last years, and the important thing is that it's not just a matter of course, producing power with the gas turbine and the cogeneration application, but it's also a matter of investing throughout the value chain of the hydrogen to make the hydrogen economy actually real and viable and fast to happen. So we have experience in the last 50 years on hydrogen compression, basically, and so we feel confident on the way we are developing also gas burning capabilities in our machines. As we are saying also in the previous panel, now the energy grid, the electricity grid is transforming. Renewable additions will require more and more need to balance the grid, and what we are going to see is also transformation of the system that is going from large conventional power plant into smaller units or distributed energy resources, so-called microgrid. So while at the core of a microgrid we still see CHP with hydrogen capabilities for the future, it's definitely important to integrate it with renewable energy, with energy storage, and of course integration, it means integration of the equipment itself, but also from a software standpoint, having the capability to orchestrate between demand and supply. So we are building several use cases for doing that, and one use case I want to show you is this one, is an airport. So the airport was requiring to have additional power driven by electrification basically, and electric vehicles charging stations. So the solution, so we have a team of solution architects that are actually simulating through digital tools the solution that have been defining to have two novel teams, CHP, combined with the solar PV, BESS, to support the additional load that was coming from the airport. I like very much this example because beside highlighting the importance of the technology, is also a specific business model that we put in place. We were talking a little bit about this earlier, that is the energy as a service business model that was really aimed to support the bankability of the project and the risking necessity of this customer. So this is to me a very important example, also because it's talking about collaboration. And while we have been investing almost for more than 490 million last year in research and development, it's also true that that investment are also meant to support the partnership and to partner with the industry into new technologies that, as I said, are paramount to decarbonize into the future. Again, so very happy to be here today and looking forward for the rest of the discussion.
Next we have a presentation from INNIO from Dr. Andreas.
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted to be part of this session today. And my apologies that I couldn't make it today in this beautiful location you have right now in Leuven, and to meet you all in person. So sorry for that. We're tackling the biggest challenge since decades. That is my feeling right now, a combination of a climate and an energy crisis. And the question is, how can we achieve a secure, affordable, and sustainable energy infrastructure in a very near future? So I see, as many of you as well, a flexible, digitally connected, smart mix of decentralized solutions to support this growing wind and solar, this growing renewable economy, which is a must. Natural gas, beside all these discussions right now, will be an important player in this and an important intermediate, followed by renewable gases like hydrogen. And this is where INNIO comes into play. So INNIO is well known in the power and CHP industry with the Jenbacher brand. We are not really known to the public. 56 or 57 gigawatts of globally delivered power and heat generating systems is the base of us. 8,500 units already, you can see that on the right, are running on renewable gases today. So INNIO has been, or Europe has been, the very, very first player in the game to develop an own digital platform called MyPlant. So more than 10,000 units are connected to this digital platform, and for intelligent and remote energy management based on artificial intelligence. Yes. So recently, and this is maybe also known to many of you, we have delivered and commissioned the first full hydrogen engine of a 1 megawatt range. And since beginning of this year, all of our products are sold as ready for hydrogen. Means all of them are retrofittable to 100% later on, and already today able to burn a mixture of 25%. That means investment into a CHP or a power plant is not really a carbon lock-in for our customers. And what I selected today for maybe some discussions and also thought is how will the residual heat produced in a renewable electrified world, and what role is hydrogen and also CHP playing there? So what you can see on the left, and how it works now, is if you see heat generated via heat pump using solar and wind power, and we stick in 100 kilowatt hour of power, and we deduct some conversion losses and efficiency losses, we end up with a COP, a coefficient of performance of typically heat pump at 10 degrees at 360 kilowatt hour. And if we compare that now and think about residual heat generation, and compare this now with a co-generated system where we need first to produce the hydrogen out of these 100 kilowatt hour, deducting all of these efficiencies right now, and I don't want to go into detail, producing power and heat or only power out of a turbine, it's still very, very interesting to combine these systems and using a cogeneration compared to just burning hydrogen in a boiler, where we end up with a lot higher losses. So this is maybe important to understand that also cogeneration coupling with heat pumps will make sense. And therefore, INNIO is heavily working on hydrogen engines, and I don't want to go into all these technical details right now, but it's a technical session, so I think it's important to understand it's interesting and a challenge to bring in all the energy needed to get as much power out of the engine as well on a high efficiency, because efficiency will be a major player in the next future. Yeah. So this is maybe generally an underestimated topic in these times where energy gets really rare. So bringing in the energy, having a brilliant control system around to protect the overall system, to be reliable, material issues, whatever is around in hydrogen. Standard and rules are really missing right now, so these must be developed as well. But all of that, and that is important, is solvable in a really near future. And I come to that later. We have serialized already the first product. So this is, I think, the demonstration, and others have done it as well, to really transform and to be part of this race of our energy transition. And we have a clear roadmap with all of our products to hydrogenize them, whatever you want to call it. And in Tyrol, in our headquarters, where 2,500 people are located, we have our INNIO 360 Energy Lab. And what does that mean? So this means it's a local microgrid where we combine a cogeneration plant with several engines, including a battery storage system, a heat storage system, a huge PV area, and where we demonstrate our customers what our products can provide. It's a microgrid controlling, it's all about the engines, it's everything connected, and very special how to run it very efficiently with our energy management system. So this is everything just words, but energy transition for us has already started. So we have delivered, and it's right in commissioning, the first 1 megawatt hydrogen CHP plant in Korea to a Korean customer on the left. We have delivered a retrofit solution in Hamburg, in Germany, to a customer, an engine which can run on 100% natural gas as well as on 100% hydrogen as necessary. And one customer in Kiel, he built up his strategy on getting carbon neutral until 2040, including our 10 megawatt engines based on a 100% hydrogen conversion until this year. So I think just some examples of a fast transforming energy world, and this is what I want to present today. Thank you very much.
That's great, Andreas. Thanks very much for that. Next up is Miloslav from TEDOM.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's pleasant for me to be here and have a chance to tell you something more about our thinking in TEDOM. What's the future of CHP units and energy? Yes. Please imagine tens, hundreds of CHP units. And these CHP units are aggregated to one block, big block. Inside, there is a production of heat in many locations, so locally production of heat when it's this heat necessary for the customers. But outside, we have a production of electricity, and this aggregation create one big source of electricity. And this electricity can be delivered to the network, and of course monetize, because we can sell this electricity on the market, and we can trade it. Imagine the same group of CHP units. Again, there is a production of electricity and heat, but we can use this production for support of the transmission operators in many countries, or maybe also in Europe, for service balancing. I use the word imagine, but it's not a fairy tale, it's not idea. We have already developed in TEDOM the system for supporting transmission operator in Czech Republic. And because we want to approve and show that it's really reality, we also certify this service. So right now we can offer this service to the transmission operator in Czech Republic, and we are ready to offer it everywhere where is possible. So we can certify it for other markets in Germany, in Poland, in the UK, in Italy, and also we are going to certify it for the US market. This solution for power balance services for these transmission operators, it's a little unique, because we are using not as other producers just PLCs and communications between each of these CHP units, but we are using cloud service for that. And communications between this cloud and transmission operators is through power balance service terminal and industry protocol adapter directly to the transmission operator. The functions of this solution is very simple. We're receiving comments from TSO and their immediate acknowledgement. We ensure reliable signals transmission to TSO. We transfer the data according to the power balance service logic, and of course we can control the quality and providing the power balance services. We use the measurement for different power outputs up to 1.5 megawatt. We are using the packages Harley dates, and above 1.5 megawatt we have online data always. So this is really reality, and we are using this not only for supporting TSO, but also for our own purposes. We will see it on the next slides. So again, you have the group of CHP units everywhere in Czech Republic, in Europe, in the world. And these CHP units are producing heat locally and electricity. And this electricity are used for final customers, for households, for factories, and for other demands. We created such a portfolio also in TEDOM. We created the special group in TEDOM operation. We have our own production in CHP units, but not only in CHP units. We have our customers, final customers, and we have our trading. So we are using this system also for balancing the power in our group to offer to our customers, to our clients, to other traders this service. And if you imagine the same group, but instead of some CHP units, there are another sources, photovoltaics, wind farms, and some battery accumulators. So right now you have a group of power sources, again, like a virtual power plant, And the advantage of this mixture, it's evident because this group is not dependent on weather fluctuation, but you can control and check the production of this big block. And I will continue. It's not only to replacing this CHP units with photovoltaics and with these new renewables, but also we can change the gas with a mixture, natural gas and hydrogen, and also, of course, with 100% hydrogen CHP units. We are also ready to offer the CHP units for this retrofit to be ready for burning 100% of hydrogen. But I think somebody from the first session mentioned that the first there has to be enough of hydrogen sources, and after that we can offer this solution for everybody. Still, it's the biggest issue to have enough of hydrogen. But we can use, instead of hydrogen, we can use also the other gases, renewable gases, biogases, landfill gases, and other, and to create from these blocks the big virtual power plants and receive the really reliable source of electricity. So this is the idea of TEDOM, where we are aiming what we would like to offer, and we think that this is also the future of CHP units in energy, not only in Europe but around the world. So thank you.
Great, thanks very much. Very innovative approach to the entire energy system there. I'm sure we'll talk more about that in a second. Next we have John Mason from Analyst.
All right, thank you, Jeremy, for that introduction. It's wonderful to be here. I came over from sunny San Diego, California, and it's great to be over here in Belgium and enjoying similar weather. So it's quite an honor to be here. So I'm the Director of Technology and Product Development, Engineering and Solar Turbines, and my organization has as its mission the accountability to identify and develop advanced technologies, apply them to the development of new products and new energy solutions, and that's precisely what we do. And as I reflect upon what my organization has been working on for quite a few years, it's perfectly aligned with what we've talked about. More efficient gas turbine development, the ability to burn a wider array of fuels, as well as thermal efficiency opportunities. So, and improvements in power density as well. So, it's quite exciting, the opportunity that some of the more unfortunate liminal moments that we've lived through over the last couple of years, beginning with the pandemic and now the crisis here in Europe, but it really has kind of fortified our strategy, and so there's exciting opportunities to come. So I am going to speak to the role that CHP has in resolving the energy trilemma. If I can get my clicker to work. There we go. Oh. Yeah. First, I thought I would take just a minute and introduce Solar Turbines for those who might not be familiar with our company. So we identify ourselves as a very large supplier, manufacturer of industrial gas turbines in the 1 to 25 megawatt size range. We are owned by Caterpillar and have been since 1981. We've sold a lot of gas turbines, more than 16,000. We've got more than 10,000 that are in service today, operating around the world. We're a very global company. I think of the more than 10,000, I think we have well over 2,500 generator sets that are in service that are producing, somewhere north of 90 million gigawatt hours of energy every year. So we're a very big player in the power generation industry as well. I mentioned we're a global company. We have sales and service, and even my engineering organization travels around the world providing critical customer service support. Okay, so I'll transition now, and I think most in the room would recognize that our energy landscape is changing. I think we've recognized this over the past several decades as much, but at the same time, I think what is more contemporary is this notion of the energy trilemma, and that was mentioned for the first time this afternoon in the previous panel discussion, where the importance of energy affordability and energy resiliency is ideally balanced with a carbon reduction strategy. And what I hope to convey over the next couple of minutes is the important role that CHP has in assuring a solution for this energy trilemma. So I refer to the fact that gas turbines do provide grid stability. They enable the deeper penetration of renewable energy sources. We've established that they provide clean heat for industry, as well as terrific operational flexibility. And as you'll see in just a moment, they also provide future-proof or future-ready solutions. So I guess before I go any further, I just want to establish a foundational understanding that perhaps most in the room already have, and that is, the benefit that CHP provides over traditional independently provide electricity or heat generation. So just taking, commonly accepted component efficiencies and comparing a traditional power system of separate electricity generation and heat in comparison to CHP, where the fuel that's driving the gas turbine, which is driving the generator, from whose waste heat is then used to supplement the production of heat, the plant efficiencies are just not comparable. They're north of 75%, approaching 80% in CHP applications. The table that you see on the right is really just a numerical case study drawing comparisons between a 10 megawatt CHP power plant along with a 10 megawatt photovoltaic and a 10 megawatt wind turbine facility. Once again, in comparison to the traditional separate mode of generation and heat production. And you can look at the numbers, but it won't take you very long to come to the conclusions that I'm providing, that CHP versus those other means of generation offers higher efficiency, avoids more CO2 production, is the most energy dense solution available, as well as being the most energy resilient. One more time. Yeah, whoops. Okay, so with that foundational understanding, let's talk a little bit about the future of CHP and some of the emerging technologies. And first I'll speak to the carbon-free fuel future. I don't want to pass up an opportunity, though, to express my opinion, and I think it's largely consistent with that of the leadership at Solar, is that natural gas is not the enemy of climate change. It's a wonderful energy transition fuel, particularly when you compare it to the emissions output of burning coal, for example. Just the simple transition from coal to natural gas will lower CO2 emissions by 50%. And in fact, in the United States from 2010 to 2020, we've displaced about half of our coal generation with natural gas. And in doing so, we've seen a 26% reduction in our CO2 emissions. So it's a wonderful bridge to the future until we've developed these new economies, this new infrastructure that we've been discussing already this afternoon. But you have the opportunity to blend that natural gas with other biofuels and hydrogen to lower the carbon intensity of the gas turbine portion of the CHP. And then again, with the fulfillment of the hydrogen economy or ammonia economy or whatever the economy happens to be in the future, you have the potential of taking your gas turbine operation down to approaching 0 parts per million of carbon dioxide. And the chart on the upper right-hand side of your screen really just speaks to the different families of fuels, the methane family, the hydrogen family, the biofuel family. So whether it's natural gas or landfill gas or digester gas, associated gas, or renewable natural gas, all provide opportunities and will be part of the developing strategy going forward. Of course, hydrogen is a major constituent. Ammonia is, I think, largely viewed as a niche fuel. Syngas is another bit of a niche fuel, but again, these will all be part of the strategy. And then on the liquid side, we've talked a little bit about biodiesel, biomethane, ethanol, and fuels of those types of flavors and characteristics, largely viewed as potential transportation fuels, but certainly will have a role in gas turbine operation as a backup fuel. Okay, well, I'll keep going here. Anyway, solar, like most companies that we've heard from today, we have a hydrogen strategy as well. And our gas turbine products, particularly our conventional combustion gas turbine products, which have a diffusion type combustion system, are already fully hydrogen capable. So we can burn 100% hydrogen today in all of our gas turbine products, but they're going to produce higher levels of nitrous oxide. So that's not highly desirable. On the lean premix combustion platform, which Solar aptly refers to as our solo NOx combustion system, we currently guarantee our products at 20% hydrogen capable today. But I can tell you, as I stand here, we are doing development work in my organization to expand the capability of our solo NOx platform to burn higher levels of hydrogen. But the real interest and the real investment is in our high hydrogen technology platform. And I think most of the gas turbine OEMs are investing significantly in this strategy. I'm not sure if it was Hans or Enzo who said earlier that they listen to the voice of the customer in driving our product strategy, and that's precisely what Solar Turbines does as well. We are investing in hydrogen because our customers are asking us to invest in hydrogen and make our products hydrogen capable. So we have our own hydrogen roadmap that will deliver a combustion system that will ensure 100% hydrogen down to 0% hydrogen and everything in between in low NOx mode without water injection, and that system will be commercially available towards the end of this decade. And that is really our path forward to our zero CO2 future. There's many more actual enhancement opportunities with CHP. I'll speak to two of them here, and one of them is carbon capture, utilization, and storage. And so one opportunity or interest that Solar has invested significantly, including our parent company Caterpillar, is the enablement of more cost-effective and efficient carbon capture through exhaust gas recirculation. So as it sounds, we can recirculate exhaust gas in a semi-closed cycle to double or even triple the CO2 concentration in our exhaust, making the ability to capture the CO2 more cost-effective and more efficient. So that's an exciting opportunity. We've got pilot projects with customers of ours that are taking place next year. So we are aggressively moving forward with that capability. The other enhancement that I'll speak to, and this has been spoken to quite a number of times, is the digital solution. And at Solar Turbines, we refer to our digital platform as our Insight system, which operates on top of thousands and thousands of our gas turbines, providing both analytical and physics-based predictive and prescriptive and prescriptive solutions to our products. So these are this system coupled with physics-based digital twins enable us to offer new product capability to our customers, including the ability to flex up the power, we call it power boost, to meet those very infrequent operating conditions while managing the accelerated damage that the unit might be exposed to in an overfired condition, for example. They also allow us to manage grid stability and grid code compliance, ensuring that in over and under frequency events, our gas turbines can respond. They are also the platform of our energy optimization solutions that we avail our customers, so that we can literally take the critical decisions away from the operators and make very smart, intelligent decisions based upon the predicted grid conditions, the spot price of electricity and natural gas, etc. And of course, it's also the foundation of our equipment health monitoring system, including our ability to monitor CO2 emissions. So I'll just simply close by restating a couple of key takeaways here. CHP, I think all in the room are in agreement that it's a terrific opportunity for very efficient, low carbon emissions solutions. I speak on behalf of solar, but I'm sure my colleagues would echo the same thing, that we are expanding the capability of our products to burn a wider array of fuels, from carbon neutral fuels to renewable fuels like hydrogen. It's a key component of our decarbonization strategy, while also investing in product, in traditional aerodynamic and thermodynamic efficiency opportunities as well. Again, another exhaust gas recirculation enhanced carbon capture, a Hughes strategy. And then one I didn't mention is the application of bottoming cycles, such as organic ranking or supercritical CO2 cycles that improve the overall combined cycle efficiency, is another very strong area of interest. So I thank you for your attention.
Thanks very much. And that was a huge overview. Thank you for that. Next we have José Luis Morán from Green Enesys.
Perfect. Okay, well, first of all, thank you very much to COGEN Europe for inviting me to this interesting panel. And well, what I want to present here is thermal storage. That everybody has heard about thermal storage. What is thermal storage? Something you need when you want to decouple generation from demand. So the system we have developed is something very simple. It's just a heat exchanger filled with smashed rock. I would like to tell you it's not only a smashed rock, but most probably, as we are being recorded, if I tell you I will be dismissed from my company, so I prefer not to tell. Well, it's just static, there are no mobile parts, and it works as a heat exchange, and without degradation, without any hazardous material, and it can stand any unlimited number of cycles. So, as I want to speak about, because everybody has heard about thermal storage, I want to speak about it's an innovation, but it's real, it's not the future. So when I speak with some opportunity with our customers, they always ask me, but does it really work? So my idea is to show just photos of projects that we are already developing in operation or under construction. Not too many, because I was told that I could not use more than 5 slides, so I'm putting all the photos in one slide, but I think we can explain. So the system is modular, because at the end, the most important is that it's not like a normal boiler, so you need at the end to work together with the customer. The customer can be an industry, can be the engineering company of this industry, and then you have to find the best use for this storage. Not always is the same. As you already know, there are not 2 cogenerations equal. Always there are some differences, and here is the case, it's totally the same. So we have those modules. You see there are modules of 12 meter length and 0.5 times 0.5. And what we do is connecting them in a smart way to produce what we want. Normally, you see there, I don't know if there's, you see there, in the yellow pipes, normally we put the hot fluid. It can be any hot fluid. It can be from hot oil, flue gases, even electricity in certain heat resistances, electrical resistances. And in the center pipe, what we put here, you see the center pipe, we heat the fluid we want. So normally we can put water, and at the end we can obtain steam, saturated steam. We can reach up to, when we charge with electricity, steam at 600 degrees and 100 bars. And from that, we can go to lower values. This is not a photo, you can see, it's just a simulation, but you see you can charge. As it is modular, it can go from the size of a container to a small building of 20 times 20 times 20 meters high. So, and we have any different type of configurations. In this case, you can charge with heat from the flue gases of a gas turbine, or steam, or electricity, and we produce normally steam, but we can produce in some cases with heat thermal oil to work in produce electricity in an ORC or just process steam. And then some photos. Because what I want to say, this solution is like imagination. So at the end, depending on the imagination of each user, we can find different solutions using different sources of heat. So on the left side is a project we have developed. We are now in commissioning in a 40 kilometers more or less from New York City. It's a university campus where we produce electricity with the gas turbine, and with the flue gases from the gas turbine, we charge the thermal storage. We produce steam, and with this steam we produce heat and cooling for the campus. Well, in this case for one building. The second case is two units. They are in Brazil. They are in operation since almost 1 year ago. And in this case, this factory is a plastic factory, and they needed hot air at 300 degrees to mount plastic. But it's a very not constant demand, so they had to use natural gas, because you know that with biomass, for example, you cannot modulate so much the load. In this case, what we are doing is charging with biomass. We keep the thermal storage at a more or less constant temperature, and then we can heat air at 300 degrees at demand. And on the right, this is still in engineering, but it's already with a signed contract. This is work for Philip Morris. This is to make greener tobacco, so it will be still not healthy, but it's green. And we are substituting the natural gas for the steam in the tobacco factory by biomass. As always, as the demand of steam is not constant, you cannot do it. You can do it with natural gas boilers, or in this case with biomass. This is another project we are in commissioning. It will be finished by the end of this year. We are already organizing some visits to customers, so I offer to you if you are interested. On the left is for a combined cycle. It's very close to Venice from Enel, so it's a nice place to go visit it on Friday. And you can see it's like a small building where this is a small building. It is only 23 megawatt hour, but the building is prepared to make it bigger. And in this case, we charge with superheated steam when electricity prices are low, and then we use this heat to produce steam that will be used either to shorten the startup time of the steam turbine or to increase the peak power of the steam turbine when electricity prices are high. And on the right side is like in a container. It's in operation since almost 2 years. It's an agreement with the Israeli army, because our technological partner is a company from Israel. And in this case, this is a base isolated in the middle of the desert, and they were using diesel generators to produce electricity and diesel boilers to heat water for the soldiers. In this case, the diesel generator is operating 24 hours. We are charging with the flue gases the heat storage, and then we produce water 2 or 3 hours. Maybe 2 or 3 hours in a campus is not enough, but here soldiers are people, so with 2 or 3 hours they have enough for shower. And this is a project also we are developing. This is in Hungary, because this is a solution that works depending on the country. In Hungary, that you can work with grid balancing only negative, and this is a project we are now in engineering, where we will use thermal storage to charge for using grid balancing or off-peak electricity. In this case, for example, in Hungary, the payback is less than 1.5 years, so it's a good case. For example, in Spain, this system doesn't work. We are developing also other systems like that to use in district heating. And we are start analyzing some projects also in Germany to use to the frequency regulation with a new concept, a new way of measuring that started like 4 months ago. So we are still analyzing this solution. And well, thank you very much.
I'm conscious that we have limited time left, and I want to leave time for the audience to ask questions, so start thinking of questions now. But first, I'd just like to do a quick round with the panel to get a view of what you think the sort of key priorities are. So the themes we've heard about are around flexibility, around adapting technologies to make use of hydrogen. We've heard about microgrids, which are clearly an integrated solution at a relatively small scale, but also about scale integration, system integration. So from these, or others which I may have missed, I'd like to get a feel for what you believe are the priorities or the key areas where you think most innovation can support the rollout of cogeneration more widely. And I know you've just been speaking, but can I start with you, please?
Okay.
Sorry, give you a mic as well.
Thank you for asking. I don't know what to answer, but well, I think that the main point is, of course, decarbonizing, and for that we need to combine more efficient equipment, of course, but also increase flexibility. And I think that decoupling generation from demand is very important, because at the end this is something that will allow to use renewables that are not dispatchable to convert electricity or energy in general in dispatchable energy.
I don't think that there is only one thing for saving or for the future of CHPs. I think that there is necessary to have the combination of all topics which we are discussing right now. The main advantage of CHP is the flexibility. So my opinion is to use the flexibility of CHPs with combination with renewables and fueled with renewable gases.
Yeah, so I agree. So there is not a straight answer on what to prioritize, right? So there is a willingness and the need to invest in multiple areas, multiple technologies. In my opinion, the foundation resides in energy efficiency. So that is, let's say, is what we can, let's say, the low-hanging fruit, if you like, because if you look also the IEA statistics, that 37% of the decarbonization will come from energy efficiency, so that is the foundation, including CHP that's reside exactly there, and then building roadmaps for making the cleanest fossil fuel, that is gas, even cleaner. With the carbon capture solution, for instance, is another area where it's fundamental to invest, not only with let's say, traditional carbon capture technologies, but also most advanced. So we recently invested into net power, that is a technology that is able through oxygen injection in the combustion of the gas turbine to inherently capture CO2, so that the combustion will have basically 99% CO2, lowering the cost of the capture inside. We need to invest in hydrogen, and again, not only hydrogen combustion, but throughout the value chain. Otherwise, I believe the hydrogen economy will never happen. So from production to distribution, and and I guess that multiple technologies are still, so also in the previous panel there was kind of set up, so there are multiple technologies that are still incubating. So sorry not to have a straight answer, but I think this is.
Yeah, I wish there was a straight answer actually. I think we've established that either cogeneration or combined heat and power application is the most idealistic platform for turbo machinery to operate in from a total cycle efficiency perspective. at the core of that, Jeremy, is the gas turbine. And as my colleagues have mentioned, investments in improved aerodynamics and better use of secondary cooling flow to improve gas turbine efficiency are very much essential to the strategy. And then fuel flexibility. The challenge with fuel flexibility is whether you're going from a natural gas platform to a hydrogen platform, perhaps to an ammonia-based platform, perhaps to a biofuel platform, and those fuels are so radically different. The technology, the physics of burning hydrogen are very much different than burning natural gas, which are yet very much different from burning ammonia. And each of these platforms are essentially going to be unique. And they are not developed overnight. As my peers would attest, we've been investing in this for years and years, and we're going to need the better part of the rest of the decade to develop a hydrogen solution. But as I think Dora just said, there's multiple strategies going forward, and hydrogen alone is not necessarily the exclusive future. So we need to be more adaptive. Products need to continue to be more flexible from a fuel capability perspective, but it's also going to require a significant investment in technology. So, I say to my young engineers and to young engineers I meet at conferences, you want an exciting future, come be a gas turbine design engineer, because the opportunity to innovate hasn't ever been greater. I want to say one more thing. I don't mean to hog the microphone here, but it was talked about earlier, and I referred to the energy trilemma, and I think there was a question that was asked to the previous panelists about the affordability. At times I feel like we are ignoring the affordability piece, and I often say that oftentimes the laws of economics trump the laws of physics. If we spend billions and billions of dollars developing low carbon solutions that 75% of the rest of the world outside of the United States and Western Europe can't afford, I don't know if we're going to have a successful carbon reduction, climate change strategy. So we have to be mindful. We want to accelerate, but we also have to be mindful of the affordability piece of the energy solutions that we are developing.
So I think my view on this is to look at 2050 and look where we will be in 2050, or plan to be in 2050, and this is in a climate neutral Europe. And I think this gives a strong steer towards where we're heading and what we have to do. And in a climate neutral economy, and you have to say that on the trajectory there, the energy system or energy sector is probably the sector that has to become climate neutral even much earlier than 2050. Dora said already that 25% of the emissions come from power generation, so it's one of the low-hanging fruits that has to be tackled first. And if you look at this, I think I see a huge role of cogeneration technologies in providing flexibility, because most of the electricity will probably be produced by PV and wind energy, but it will be hugely expensive to have this overcapacity to be able to guarantee the security of supply. So I think it's really important to have something that's much more flexible and much faster, and can also provide auxiliary services to grid operators. I mean, say one more thing. So one thing that I found very encouraging that Andreas mentioned, and you I think as well, is that we are already avoiding a carbon lock-in by allowing turbines to not only use gas but also, for example, hydrogen. I think it's very important that we think about providing these flexibility services also with carbon neutral fuels. Now I'm finished.
Andreas, can we get you as well?
I hope you can hear me now. Well, I think a lot of things are already said. Out of my view, most of the cogeneration is based on a reliable, well-proven technology. At least in our case, I think there's 100 years of history behind. So it's just not only fuel change. This is one advantage for sure. But maybe to highlight the digital connectivity of the overall energy grids in the future. So cogeneration will be a very important supporter of whatever we do in the future. And there, to invest even more to make it as intelligent as possible. That is maybe the main driver in investments, to have a reliable, stable, sustainable energy future. And fuel flexibility operating profiles, which will become even more important in the future. These are all advantages. And I don't want to exclude any technology, because every technology has an advantage as well as disadvantages. I think the mixture of all will increase in the future, and cogeneration is an important base of all.
Thank you. I'd like to open to the floor. I have one question already from Simon.
So, Simon here from Challenge Energy again. There's been a lot of talk about hydrogen, and a lot of money has been spent on getting ready for hydrogen. We've got somebody from the European Commission here who looks to the future. What is the single thing that you need, and it may be not a single thing, but what are the things that you need to allow you to deploy real technology? What needs to go in place in the next, say, 5 years?
So, do you mean regarding hydrogen? Or?
Yes, regarding that.
Yeah, great question, Simon. Really, the challenge of burning hydrogen is in the combustion system, not exclusively. There's package implications from a safety perspective that have to be borne out as well. But maybe most in the room recognize that hydrogen is a very reactive fuel. It has a substantially higher flame speed. It burns at a higher adiabatic temperature. In a combustion system, in a dry lean combustion system, you have new challenges associated with combustion instability. You have concerns over flashback, which is a phenomenon where the flame no longer stays anchored where it was intended, and these can be very detrimental. So at Solar Turbines, we are investing in the development of combustion kinematics with hydrogen, developing flame transfer functions that describe the physics of burning hydrogen, and then putting those design those characteristics into our design system so that we can predictively develop more ready high hydrogen combustion platform solutions. So that's the essence of it, the way I see it in the combustion space.
I don't know if any of the others want to address that, but there was another question as well. So
I can also say, so I mean, it's not only about burning hydrogen, it's also about transporting it. So this will be very important to get our gas grids ready, hydrogen ready, distribution and transmission. But also, I mean, one of the big questions about hydrogen, and we talked already about the economic aspect, is will we have the cheap electricity to produce it, which is absolutely necessary. And I think there is room for this in a electricity grid with a lot of volatile feeders, but we have to find also the legal framework that allows those feeders to then sell this electricity at a certain price to hydrogen producers, and for hydrogen producers to benefit from these like surpluses of electricity production.
thank you. There's no.
We can imagine a future with a lot of technologies, hydrogen, made of excess renewables, wind farms, photovoltaics, CHP of course, thermal storage, electrical storage, and some artificial intelligence maybe is required to manage all of this as you are starting to do in Czech Republic. But do we think that we can rely on the market to manage this? Because maybe it's not the right session to ask to raise that question, because it's very technical. But looking at what has been happening today with the market rules about the prices of electricity in Europe, and with a system which is very much simple than the one we can imagine in the future, is the market enough and good enough to manage this?
Well, there's a question to end on. Who wants to take that one?
I honestly think that is not so much into the future what we have been seeing so far, right? What is happening today. I mean, today we have customers that are asking us 100% hydrogen capabilities, burning capabilities, and we can offer that. They are experimenting blue hydrogen, they are transporting hydrogen. So the microgrids and the way the virtual power plant are working today is something that is already happening. So again, I think that the market will be able to select what are the technologies that will continue to help the decarbonization and the energy transition, and the selection will be made based mainly on the economics at the end of the day. So that's why now we are very much into a piloting phase of multiple of these technologies, to experimenting which of them are viable, which of them are not, and I mean everything will balance out. So I'm confident that the market will help.
Maybe regarding the market, the situation which we are facing right now, it's something which for us it's something what we don't know. But when we are going back to 17th of the last century, there was also the energy crisis, and also the prices were very, very, very high. The difference is that the transmission of the information is very fast right now, and we don't know how we can react on that. Yeah. So still, I think that the market is the right way how make a business also with energies, but we have to use the information in the right way, and don't be so sensitive. Like we are right now.
Time for just one last question.
No peeping? Okay. Gunnar Kessler again, and as I am active in an IC working group on microgrids, that's the question about. So how much of your customers choose the microgrid option, which is that the whole thing is able to run in island mode, meaning it can survive an outage and other stuff, increasing the resiliency of the power supply. And do you think that this share will go up or will go down or will be the same? Because many people have now concerns about the security of supply, and that it may help to survive at least a few hours or days in island mode if something is crashing. And maybe one comment on hydrogen. So I don't think that hydrogen, the main problem is the burning of hydrogen, also the transporting. It's basically the production. So where does the energy come from, which we put in our electrolyzers?
Can I pass that one to you as the man from San Diego, California, is the home of, well, catastrophic microgrid requirements.
Well, you can, Jeremy, but I don't know if I can answer the question very well. But yeah, thank you for your comment too on the challenge of producing hydrogen. Yeah, I was speaking in the context of just turbo machinery, but a very, very real challenge as well. Boy, I'm not sure if I can add a lot of value or interesting commentary to your comment. I think California is an interesting state. We are highly regulated. We are extremely dependent on renewable energy sources. I think more than 50% of the generation in California comes from renewable sources. And as a consequence, we struggle with grid stability. We have rolling blackouts somewhat routinely in California now, and we are being told that is the new normal. It doesn't feel very normal when the food in your refrigerator starts to spoil. We are told that we can't charge our electric cars on very, very warm days, even if we have solar panels on our roofs. So I think I'm doing a lot of talking here, but I'm not sure I'm answering or responding to your question. But dependency on microgrids, I do see growth in that category for the reasons that have been discussed already today. And I guess I'll just kind of close my comment here with, CHPs with their greater flexibility and smart overwatch by digital solutions is absolutely essential. So our gas turbines must be able to start very quickly. They must be able to ramp up to load very, very quickly. They must be able to run in island mode or be able to export in those applications as well. I better have the microphone off here.
Thanks very much, John. I'm sorry, but we do have a time limit, and I'm sure there are many more questions which we would love to answer. I do confess for slight enthusiasm for microgrids myself, and one of the interesting things about the so-called renewable microgrids is that every single one you look at has to have fuel-based generators somewhere to provide the backup and resilience. So there's obviously a great role there for cogeneration as part of that, providing the flexibility, much as it does to the rest of the energy system. Anyway, that's my little plug for my favourite technology. So thanks very much, all of you, for your insights and thoughts on the innovation, technology and resources in that context. But as I say, sadly we do have to go, although gladly we go to the cocktail reception. So thank you all very much. I'm sure Hans will just say a couple of words, but they're looking behind me. But anyway, thank you all very much for your contributions.
Thank you.